Well, here's your host, Tom Dirato.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Pat Jones Show. The Cowboys played in Norman this past weekend, and Pat, cold, wet day down there in Memorial Stadium.
Cold, wet day, and offensively we got totally stoned. My initial impressions after reviewing the thing really have not changed a heck of a lot. Certainly our travails offensively have been well documented. And OU played well. They didn't do anything special other than they just basically lined up and whipped us. And field position and some things were a factor, but simply got whipped in those areas. Defensively played reasonably well, but we're out on the field too much. But I think we'll see a pretty good example of this throughout the course of the highlights.
All right. Well, first half highlights are coming up. Stay with us. The Pat Jones Show continues after these messages. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. And Pat, we mentioned before the break, a cold day. I don't know where those 72 degrees that the weatherman had predicted went, but it was a tough day there at Norman and not exactly the best playing conditions.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, that surface down there, which is this last game played on it, is probably better when it's wet. They wet it anyway prior to the start of the game. It softens the pad up. But again, they won we won the toss, elected to defer. They took the ball, come out here and hit a little crack, and we make a nice play. Cleavon Williams makes a nice hit. They opened the game with a toss back pass. We've got the same play and can't execute it. This is exactly the same thing same play we opened the '87 Sun Bowl with.
Exactly.
Same play. Nice job because you got a veteran quarterback, and Gundy played well. They hammered at us a little bit, bounced it outside. Allen had a good day defensively. I don't think we played particularly well, but on the same hand, I don't think we played particularly bad. They played, I won't say flawless ball game, but there's a fumble that occurred right there. One of them, we get the ball now down on their end of the field. We could never catch a break. And here's a replay of the same thing. They bounce it outside. Langford just gets a hold of him, slings him around, and who recovered that, Tom?
That was Burns, I believe, got that.
Okay, Keith Burns, all right, there's Javon Langford, the freshman who by and large played a pretty good ball game. There's Burns, Scotty Harmon. Okay, Keith gets on the ball, and we've got it to stop their first drive. All right, run the open inside sweep, do not block the backside linebacker, and hits us in the hole. Now we run a sprint out pass. Might have overthrown it a little bit, could have been caught. Try to throw the ball down the middle with Andy Loveland. Couldn't get it off, got sacked. Right, Tyner, whose leg probably got worn out during the course of the day,
punts, right?
By and large, kicked pretty well. They break this, but they're called back.
We're going to see it again.
There was a couple of blocks in the back. It seemed like some of this went on all day, and there was a pretty good time. You got to do a better job tackling that.
You're going to see it right here, right at the top of the screen.
Okay,
right
there's
here.
one right there. Okay, now we got to do a little bit better job of tackling right in here, and we've gotten back. Okay, they're backed up. It's still nothing.
That's correct.
Again, see, you can see the rank, Tom, and I go back to, all right, this little play right here is kind of unique. They had done some of it. It's a counter that starts out looking like an option. We run to the ball pretty well. I think it's the one thing we do. There's a penalty here, but they get it on them. But I think the little misdirection stuff, I think, got us off balance a little bit. We played pretty well in the second half.
Right.
It's pretty well conceived. You can see counters and these sorts of things allowed them to break the line of scrimmage. I think they had a pretty well conceived play. And here it is again. Front side looks like a front side play for a long time. Then it comes out the backside, and they run out a couple of different formations and do some things. Here's the off tackle play. Nothing going right here. Richie Ainsley. Ainsley, who had been hurt throughout the course of most of the week, came out and really, I thought, played pretty well. They bounce it again to the outside. I thought both their backs played well. Holding call, marking back. Okay, then they come out, run a screen right there, do a good job, and he makes a big first down. Okay, second and goal from here. And now they're going to come out and run a three-way option. It was covered. He couldn't pitch. Now turn around, throw the ball down the field. Is this Albert Hall here?
That's correct.
I thought it was Warren when they called it. Hall had a good day.
Now watch this here. He gets sandwiched pretty well.
Well, we had the option part of it covered, and Hall breaks loose down the field in the end zone, goes up and catches the ball, takes a pretty good shot, and holds on to it. I was going to say, Tom, I was back to our series, our first series. Again, we tried to throw the ball, which is iffy enough, certainly under these conditions with us. We started Andy Loveland, feeling like he's the most veteran one of the lot, if that's using the right term. We get a little bit of a return here and block in the back. Started Loveland. We're going to see if we could generate anything. We'll put Tony Jones in here a little bit later. Run the fullback inside. He runs a little bit too tight a path, don't make anything. Try to run a quick screen here. They get all over it. Andy threw the ball away, and we had blocking downfield. Now we come back and try to run a shuffle pass. They're all over it. So in the first 2 series, we've tried to run a quick screen. We've tried to run a shuffle pass. We've tried to throw the ball down the field, all of which we got covered. There's not a secret to you got to be able to execute. You got to be able to block. You got to be able to do some things. All right, now they've got the ball. And here Gundy goes back. We've got him covered. Starts scrambling around. All right, Richie Ainsley, was that him or Hobbs?
That's what Ainsley coming in right
Ainsley
at the end here.
Yeah, and this was not, there was some oohing going on in the crowd, but Ainsley, he's well in bounds there. And I thought this really, for as hotly a contest, was a pretty cleanly played ball game. There were some penalties involved in this thing. They get the tight end loose down in the middle and catch the ball, which they've done a pretty good job of. Option, Gundy jumps up inside, short yardage. Now comes this busted play here on their part, and we stop them here.
For a while, it looked like we were getting some defensive stability right there for a couple of series.
We did, for as many. If you give them enough cracks at it, there's a good tackle here on a reverse, you're going to get worn down at some particular point in time, which I think we did. And they didn't really make a lot of mistakes, in my opinion, not trying to grade them, but I didn't think they made a lot of crucial mistakes. When they did, we couldn't do enough about it to take advantage of it. Who was that, Javon Langford?
That was right.
All right, now they come back out and throw back across the field. The tight end catches the ball. We had put in some 3-man rush stuff, which this 4th down try here, we stop them. We had put in some 3-man rush stuff, which first time we had showed it. We used to do quite a bit of it, and went in. I think that gave us a few plays in the throwing game. But, okay, here's Gilden right here. I think Gilden played a pretty good ball game. I think Gilden, 2 linebackers, played well. Now we've got it. Try to run the isolation play up inside. Fullback gets stuffed. End of the first quarter. Okay, now we put Tony Jones in there. Oklahoma's ahead 7-0. Put Tony Jones in the ball game here. Tony came out, and we had a tight end dump called down the middle. They were all over it. Now Tony scrambles, and runs out of bounds. Go back throw. We checked off to the quick game. He hit it, and they jumped it, and they did a nice job of tackling. Knocked us back, come out a yard short. Tyner comes in, punts the ball. This was one little bit in when he was plenty enough attempts at it. They had some good and some bad, but they run the ball inside and make nothing. Here they come back and run play action. We've got them covered. And now Richie Ainsley. Here's a replay of the same thing. This is one of those coverage sacks deals. We've got them covered down the field, and wisely Gundy doesn't panic and starts to run, just takes a sack. And at what point are we at this time?
We're about halfway through the
Okay, here we go.
quarter.
Okay, 3rd and 13 down on our end of the field. All right, they come back out and throws it back. Now, this was I don't know if there was a turning point. I don't think even really remotely think that. But on the same hand, now we're behind 7. This is on our 40-yard line. Richie Ainsley right there. If we can get our hands on that, you got a chance to have the ball around midfield. We stop them, they punt. Now they punt the ball back down in here, so we're going to get it at about the, let's see where we end up, somewhere around the 30-yard line. Okay, now don't they call something on us? Yeah, they do. And we got it back now to 22. That's Boogie Johnson, Boogie, who's got to do a better job protecting the ball. Gets hit and it goes out. That wrapped it up for Boogie for the day. Now Joe Jefferson comes in. We run the trap. Now we turn and toss to Thompson. I think Thompson ran hard and competed hard under tough circumstances. But David did a few things I thought pretty well. If there was, I won't say a bright spot because I don't necessarily think that offensive, but I think Thompson really played well and competed well. Off tackle play, Keith Burns, a loss of a yard here. They alternated their backs around, and here's Keith Burns. This thing worked out about like it needed to, and we had it played.
He showed up a lot.
Yeah, okay, Keith's a good player, obviously. He still missed a few tackles, but he played well. Here they come back, try to throw a little crossing route, and we miss a tackle right in there. Now Brady, who's having a good year for them, runs out to midfield. First, okay, here's this option counter, for lack of a better term to use. They get us circled around the outside again and make some yards, and we run them out of bounds. Try to run the fullback in the interior, don't make anything. Come back now, play action, try to run the screen. We've got it covered. All right, now they come out here on 3rd down. I believe this is. Is this one they catch?
Sir.
Oh, gosh, we got 2 guys right around him. Albert Hall, great catch. We'll see a replay of it. Let's see how I was looking at Trent Fisher. Okay, they got it. Here's the Gundy throwing the ball down. We've got 2 guys in position right there. Come on, fellas, break up, make the play. Hall looked like, I don't know how they didn't give him a touch. Did they?
They gave him the touch.
They gave him the touch.
Yeah,
okay, now it's 14-0. A good catch on their part. All right, now we come out. Okay, run our fullback up inside, don't make anything, get a holding call.
That's correct.
Now we're coming out running play action here. Try to throw deep under, throw the ball. Again, tough circumstances at best. Yeah, he was rusty. Yeah, we tried to explain this time in the post game interview. It's hard to explain these sorts of things. We were trying to give all three quarterbacks, being Loveland, Tony Jones, and Mark Wilson, repetitions during the course week, which is extremely hard to do at any level, and try to get any of them proficient, because we didn't know how much Tony could hold up physically, and I think he did, although he was certainly rusty. They roughed Scott Tyner on this. Good call. So now, okay, yeah, 1st and 10, lo and behold. We come back out, give the ball off David Thompson.
Hard run here.
Yeah, he makes a nice run, get a face mask call. Thompson, I say David competed. Okay, Tony, play action, tackle got whipped. Okay, gets sacked now, 2nd 13, coming back to throw the ball. Okay, now this is the interception. We kept on saying, which is hard to do. Good job, David Thompson, on a tackle. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Well, you start to getting a little bit frustrated, try to gun that ball in. They're good defensively, make a break, make a play. Here's the option counter again. We've got it defended pretty well, makes a couple of yards. All right, we jump off sides right here. That's that's 3rd and 5, and we jump, which they had worked and do a pretty good job of long count, which we had worked on quite a bit, still jump. 1st and 10. We got the ball on the 18-yard line. You give it off to Allen. Doesn't make much. Okay, good job with the linebackers. Okay, now come out, run a little draw play, makes yards. You got a chance down in here now. Come on, men. All right, there's Allen. Bounces outside. Let's see. It's okay. Link Harden, 57. Okay, here we go. Now run the fullback, and he gets in. He gets in, scores, kick it. 21-0. The turnover, there surprisingly were not a lot of turnovers in here. We're going in to half.
Yeah, they're going to add
they had a field goal. We're lucky they didn't make another. So they're ahead 24-0 to half. Obviously, we got our work cut out for us. Now we got to go and try to regroup.
Okay, second half highlights coming up after this timeout. Still wet and cold there at Memorial Stadium. What'd you tell the team at halftime?
Oh, one of those kind of deals. Time you talk about pride, dignity, respect, these sorts of things. Being intelligent, trying to dig it out one play at a time.
Right.
Certainly, they got you on the run. You're down there. You can't move the ball a lick. Defense is getting overextended. So those types of things you talk about, and there's not anything mystical or magical to it. You just got to go back out there and try to make it happen one play at a time.
Okay, let's get into the highlights here and see what happens in the second half, and relatively even for the third quarter.
Well, yeah, they kick off, and we almost mishandled this. We came close to breaking a couple of kickoff
we sure did.
Okay, now got Tony Jones back in. Try to run an option. Fullback cannot get the guy knocked down. This different type of option. The most frustrating thing about this sort of stuff, and I'm going to talk through this kind of deal, try to run over there, they're over there. You try to run over here, they're over here. Now you try to run a draw play, you make a few yards, you can't. We almost got that punt block too, but from the same hand, as far as not attempting a variety of things for the way we are right now, we tried about as much variety as we've got in. They try to run it up inside, don't make much. There's the again, that same little counter play off the option look and don't make much. Yeah, we did defended it a little bit better in first half. Okay, fake screen, throw down the middle of the tight end. They catch it, we stop them. They punt. Intelligent on their part. There was 4th and 1 or 2 and probably could have gone for it, but it bottled us up. Why not? We can't move the ball. So we've got it down here in the 6-yard line, 7-yard line, where it was.
Jumping ahead now. We couldn't move on the next series.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, couldn't move. That sounds different. All
yes,
right,
sir.
Yeah. All right, now they get the ball down here. Fullback, nothing's going right here. I thought, from a competitive standpoint, I thought particularly our defensive unit, you can see we're still doing some things here. We still went out there and competed. They attempt the field goal. Okay, wide. So now, I won't say that we're really realistically in it, although you're just kind of clinging in there. Okay, you got him on a scramble here, push him out of bounds. All right, 3rd down. What is
2nd and 3.
Second
right
three.
Here.
All right. Try to run the tailback. You see, not much. Langford. Okay, no, nothing going there. All right, now we come back. We'll try to throw
Here
this little. Okay, there it is. Well, this is really an athletic-looking move right there. This guy's going to be really a good player. He's a true freshman. This one from Washington, D.C. Let's watch this here.
Tyler tips it, I believe.
Okay, Tyler Williams is going to tip it right there. Javon Langford, 89. Nice play. He played tight end in high school. Is going to get it. And now you see him spin and twist and do all these kind of things in here. Good job, men. All right, let's watch this. I thought maybe he might run it in. Probably the only other way we're might score. I know I'm sounding sarcastic myself, but there's no other way to be, I don't guess. All right, here we go. Okay, now we got Mark Wilson in the ball game.
Right.
You're trying to. Tony had, I thought, got a little bit rattled. In all honesty, and we took him out. He called a formation wrong. Now we run a couple of options, run the keeper. Now we try. Here's this trick play that we had in. This is the epitome of probably futility at this point here. If we got a replay of this same play we scored against TCU last year, it's a trick play. Obviously, I saw this from where I was standing down here. I thought the ball hit the ground. I had a pretty good look at it, and hey, you just got to make the play. They didn't cover the doggone thing. It was a legal play. I don't want to get into all the detail of how we do it. It had been discussed with the officials,
right.
And we copied off one of the NFL clubs a year ago, and like I said, we did run it for a touchdown down there a year. We throw the ball out there and can't catch it. Now they're going to fix it. They're going to drive the ball a long, long way and get that last touch, but it's going to take a long while. Counter play, they're just kind of knocking it out. Now, 24-0. I don't know if it had gotten time, if it had gotten to 24-7. I don't know if we could have won the ball game, certainly under the circumstances, but probably kept it obviously a little bit closer in here. Okay, here they run. There's that play again. Now we'll get us wall back inside. And okay, Keith Burns, Harmon, and fellas in here. All right, run the fullback. Nothing going there. They're going to break one in here, I think.
Here comes the pass to Hall.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is a, we're going to see this. I thought we had that thing intercepted with Scotty Harmon. Okay, here it is again. Then he throws the ball down the field. All right, right in here.
Another look coming up. Another look here.
I want to see, you're setting me up here for something. Let's see what happens in here. Okay. All right, there's that ball right in there. Looked like that ball might have hit the turf.
Yes, sir.
Our fake. Okay. But it didn't get called that way, so here we go. All right, now we miss a couple of tackles in here. Come on, men, and they run back off and score, makes it 31. This, for all practical purposes, has been decided anyway, but say, man, you hate to miss tackles. It's going to end up now the 31-0. Yeah, I told Gary, they got a good football team. I thought they really played well. They made A&M look pretty bad early in the season. They've got some people back. We could get absolutely nothing going and still played reasonably hard, but again, tough down the fellows on offense.
Well, this game is history. We come home next Saturday, take on Kansas State, close out the regular season, and we'll talk about that when we return to the Pat Jones Show. Welcome back to the Pat Jones Show. Pat, how painful was that?
Talking about yesterday or overall?
Both.
Well, yesterday, it was, I thought, which I tend to, that we had a legitimate chance going in if we could do certain things. Now, you know, certainly the most frustrating thing is you never remotely got untracked offensively. I'm aware of our misgivings and injuries and inexperienced quarterback and all that, but like I say, you try this, it doesn't work. You try this, it doesn't work. You got to give OU credit. That part of it is really frustrating. I think overall, the most frustrating thing about it for the head coach, for me, from my standpoint, I think it's important that people understand this. I mean, I've coached here 15 years. I think I'm correct in saying I've coached at the varsity level longer than anybody ever has here, participating in more wins as the head coach than anybody in the history of Oklahoma State football. Basically don't care about anything other than Oklahoma State football. So watching stuff like this, and then you go into a season with high expectation levels and these sorts of things, and you see it tend to go the other way. It's painful to look on the faces of these kids. I mean, particularly these fifth-year guys, Butler, some of these people and then Keith Burns, Gilden, Harmon, some of these, and to see their expectation levels were high. And now to see that really getting tough, I mean, that's hard. That's hard to really put up with on a daily basis. And these kids have handled it pretty good. The rest of it is just things I got to handle. I mean, it's kind of like, if you could make an analogy for me, it's almost like sitting and watching one of your family members gets terminally ill or sick and die or something like that, because I have no real interest other than Oklahoma State football and how you make it work and the personalities involved. So if there's anybody out there that thinks that this is not extremely painful for me now, they're kidding themselves. I'll lead the charge in that regard. But those are things that just I as a head coach have to handle, and I think I know how to get us going. Not necessarily as much next week, I think I got ideas there, but long range there's some things that we'll get into at a later point. But yeah, sure, it's not easy to go through. And I give the kids and the staff credit for really handling tough parts of it.
Quickly, next week you mentioned this is the final appearance for the seniors.
Yeah, we've got guys who have really put up with probably as much in this program as anybody. They came in when we were just getting hit. We were entering into these tough sanctions. they've put up with all that stuff. They went through 0-10 and 1, kind of dug out last year, and then again high expectations going, or higher expectations going into this year, and that thing has gone a little bit the other way, or some the other way. So from the same hand, they've put up with an awful lot in this, and we've got K-State coming in here. Need to get out there and play well, need to have us a good week. We'll make sure that we're as fresh as we can be. So it's a ball game that will be meaningful in a lot of ways. I mean, we've gone into the last games of the year for bowls and all these sorts of things, but this is meaningful in a different way. I've spilled over for Tom and myself, I guess. We'll see you next week. Appreciate your attention. See you later.